Hey, welcome everyone to another week of the Focus TV. We have Octavia Wyatt here, Raymond Lyons, Malik Miller, Wilson Tarpe Jr. We're gonna get straight to it. Octavia, the NFC East, very eventful this weekend, depending on who you root for in there. Ray's one of the. I think Ray and my cousin are like the only two Dallas fans I know that if they have nice Sundays. The rest of y'all, man, be like them. Just let it go. Let it go. But Octavia, the floor is yours.
I almost wasn't here this week. Close. I was like a big paw away from not being here this week. But yes, like you stated, the NFC East is never short of entertainment. We have it all types of ways that you can imagine it in the NFC East. I will stay in our regular rotation and I will get my team out of the way. Um, I feel like last year, a lot of times there were people calling the commanders, the cardiac commanders. They need something equivalent for the Eagles because it really be like that for real. But the Eagles defeated the Rams 33-26. Jalen Hurts was 21 of 32, 226 yards, three touchdowns, nine carries for 40 yards, and one touchdown. Saquon Barkley had 18 carries for 46 yards and four receptions for 9 yards. AJ Brown had six receptions, 109 yards, and one touchdown. Devontae Smith had eight receptions for 60 yards and one touchdown. And Dallas Goedert had one reception for 33 yards and one touchdown. On the other side, Matthew Stafford was 19 of 33, 196 yards, two touchdowns, one interception. Kyron Williams had 20 carries for 94 yards, two receptions for 18 yards and one touchdown. Devontae Adams, three receptions, 56 yards and one touchdown. And Puka Nacua for 11 receptions and 112 yards. This was the craziest game I think I've ever seen in my entire life. They literally did nothing in the first half. Outside of the interception by Zach Bond in the first series for the LA Rams, to put the Eagles in good field position, for them to go down and take advantage of the score and lead 7-0. Right after that, the Rams just took over. They came right back down, scored as well. The biggest issue for the Rams was that they could not score touchdowns in the red zone. One thing that they talk about a lot on the defensive side of the ball is sometimes you got to bend and not break. So as not pretty as the defense played in the first half, even in the first half, they were able to keep the Rams from the end zone. Now, I will say some of that was also on the Rams' shoulders as well. Matthew Stafford, who's usually a very good passer, very accurate in his passing. Definitely missed some throws that I'm sure now he wishes he could have back. They would have had ample opportunities to get into the end zone, but unfortunately, they kept ending up with field goals, which kept the Eagles not too far out of it. But just the way that they were playing in the first half, you really just didn't see anything happening. For the defense, the Philadelphia defense allowed 22 first downs. They were 3 of 10 on third downs and 356 yards on the defense. To the Rams, who did only score 7 points in the second half and no points in the critical fourth quarter. There are only points in the second half came after an inexplicable thing happened again, coming out of halftime with the ball, trying to get momentum. And it's also worth mentioning that Lane Johnson went out early in this game on the right tackle. And it shows how much we need Lane Johnson. We need him healthy at all times. His replacement being Matt Pryor. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know why they put Matt Pryor out there before Fred Johnson anyway. Fred Johnson, who was actually signed by the Jaguars in the offseason after coming off of the Super Bowl win with the Eagles last year. Signed to the Jaguars. It didn't work out. We sent I think a fifth or a sixth round pick, and he came back literally before, like I felt like before, like right before week one. And when they removed Matt Pryor and put Fred Johnson in, the offense immediately just started to click a lot better. I know, of course, everybody's yelling about, and they've been yelling about all year, the passing game. Um, and I mean, it kind of goes what they say, what they've been saying, the Eagles have been saying this whole time. We can do it if we need to. We don't always need to. But I feel like this year they're probably going to have to do it a lot more than last year because I think a lot of teams are 100%. Saquon Barkley is on the top of the scouting list. They are doing everything in their power to keep him from running all over them. We know the Rams definitely had him at the top of of their scouting list as well, for the way he played against them 2 times last year. So they definitely are paying that much more attention to Saquon Barkley. So it's definitely going to put the pressure more on Jalen Hurts to throw the ball, which I really don't think there's an issue with it. When you have the likes of AJ Brown, I really wish Emmanuel Forbes would just be quiet, sir. Like, he owned you when you played for the Commanders, and you're not big enough to rumble with AJ Brown, as we saw. So yeah, it was definitely one for the ages. They scored 26 straight points in the second half. They were down 19-7 at halftime, 26-7 after again, Jalen Hurts was pummeled and fumbled the ball on the first possession of the second half. Jared Verse, bad man. The fact that the Rams had to depart from Aaron Donald, who of course retired, and just happened to roll into a Jared Verse and a Braden Fisk as well. Yeah, so it was definitely a heart attack game. But of course, the story of the game, the 2 blocked field goals in there. Like I said, as many field goals as they kicked in this game, because they did kick a lot. Just hearing Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter talk about it after the game, about how every single time they started to see exactly where they needed to be, exactly where they needed to get their push. And when that second to last field goal, when they finally broke through and blocked it, they realized that they were finally there. I will be the first to say that when the comeback came all the way with AJ Brown bodying people, Dallas Goedert being a non-effect for most of the game and coming through with the 33 reception touchdown. And then, of course, Devontae Smith with the go-ahead touchdown that put them ahead 27-26. And like I said, Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. He definitely missed some, but he did not miss the Puka Nacua. 11 receptions, 112 yards. It also brings up the question about the other side of the field, because Quinyon Mitchell had a good game. He followed Devontae Smith for majority of it. The touchdown to Devontae Adams, excuse me, that Devontae Adams scored was literally on Reed Blankenship, and Reed Blankenship is a great safety. He's not a great athlete. Devontae Smith ran past him, and that was all she wrote. But outside of that, Quinyon Mitchell then did a great job, but it left Puka Nacua wide open, and he definitely feasted. So it definitely still brings up concerns on the other side of the field. Granted, I know it's not a corner, but there was a safety that was released by the Texans today. I'm wondering if he finds his way back. I don't know, because he said a lot of things in the off season, so I don't know how it's going to go over. But you never know. They did it before, so maybe he'll come back and apologize, and maybe he'll come back and help a little bit in that secondary, because Adoree Jackson still is not it. But again, play the game, Jordan Davis coming through at the end, because I thought they got all the way down, and I was like, great, they just did so. We did a great job coming back, and just to lose it on a walk-off field goal, as a lot of games this week were walk-off field goals, whether they were made or they were blocked. For Jordan Davis to do that, Jordan Davis actually had an amazing game. I think his gameplay was lost in this as well, outside of the blocking of the field goal. He ran down Matthew Stafford to prevent a third down being converted. Jordan Davis has lost a lot of weight, and it shows. Big man was running down that field. We didn't even need to score, but to see him get up to 18.59 miles per hour at 336 pounds, 6'6", it's a lot of man moving. So it was a hard-fought game for them. It's got to be a gut punch for the Rams, who I think they said the only teams that they've lost to in the last year is the Eagles. I can't remember exactly who else they lost to, but I know they lost to them 3 times in the last year. So it's tough for them, and you really don't see a Sean McVay team do that. So kudos to the Eagles for not giving up. They will again have another test, and I think a lot of people are showing a lot more looks to this team, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they'll play against them this week. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have always had the Eagles numbers. I don't know what it is, but Todd Bowles knows what's going on up here. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting game. Um, I will be watching that game from my phone because I will actually be at the next team that I'm going to bring up's game this Sunday. The Washington Commanders play the, I keep want to call them the Oakland Raiders, but the Las Vegas Raiders. They defeated the Raiders 41-24. Marcus Mariota, who stepped in for the injured Jaden Daniels, who has a knee injury, was 15 of 21, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 carries for 40 yards and 1 touchdown. Jeremy McNichols had 4 carries for 78 yards and 1 touchdown. Ja'Cory Bill Krosky Merritt, 8 carries, 26 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 reception for 5 yards. Terry McLaurin kind of got into the party a little bit, 3 receptions for 74 yards. And Luke McCaffrey, 3 receptions, 56 yards, 1 touchdown. It was a lot of mix in this. It was like McNichols, McLaurin, McCaffrey, they just all was just everywhere this game. On the other side, the Raiders, outside of Trey Tucker, I don't know who else was there, but Geno Smith was 19 of 29, 289 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 carries for 5 yards. Ashton Jeanty had 17 carries, 64 yards, and Trey Tucker had 8 receptions, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Crazy. Crazy. To be fair, I really thought the Commanders would struggle without Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels being a big focal point of their team, period, offense, defense, special teams, the whole shebang. But I think they've talked a lot in the offseason about Marcus Mariota being a seamless kind of transition. He has similar, not the same, similar attributes of Jaden Daniels as far as being able to move and run the same way. So they really don't have to change up too much of their play calling. But again, he was super explosive. Again, very efficient, 40 yards rushing, 207 yards passing. But it was all over the field. The Commanders as a whole were making a huge amount of explosive plays, from Deebo Samuel's 69-yard kickoff return, which set up a score on their first possession. Punt returner Jalen Lane returned a punt for 90 yards for a touchdown. Running back Jeremy McNichols scored on a 60-yard run. And Terry McLaurin had a 59-yard catch to the 1-yard line to set up another touchdown. And Luke McCaffrey had a 42-yard reception. It was just explosive play after explosive play. And I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting it. I feel like the Raiders, while they're of course not top tier, they've been playing pretty decent this year. Their defense has been playing pretty decent this year as well. We know what Max Crosby does. So I was surprised they were able to really have that many explosive plays. On the defensive side for the Commanders, their front seven definitely played their ass off as well. They sacked Geno Smith 5 times. 4 players recorded a sack, with linebacker Bobby Wagner doing it twice. They limited Ashton Jeanty to 63 yards. 45 of those came on 3 carries. There was also some talks earlier this last week. Ashton Jeanty was asking for more and more carries. I don't know if 17 was enough, but it was not enough this week. So all in all, it was a good game, and it was a good situation for the Commanders, especially that gives them more time to possibly let Jaden Daniels rest his knee, knowing that Marcus Mariota played so well. And seeing his interviews after the game, you can see how much it really means to him to actually get an opportunity to be out there again. He's been with a bevy of teams, in his career. So right now, Dan Quinn said that they won't take Marcus Mariota's performance into account when it comes to evaluating if Jaden Daniels was going to play. I feel like that's the PR thing to say, but if Marcus Mariota can give you a little bit of time to let Jaden actually really heal up that knee, knowing that, there are going to be other pivotal games that are going to come down the pike, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Marcus Mariota this week, especially because they play against the Atlanta Falcons. And the Atlanta Falcons got their ass beat by the Panthers. Like, ass, built their ass. It was bad. It was a crazy week all around. I did not expect that. I will actually be at the game in Atlanta this week, so that's going to be very interesting to see. So I will report back when I get back. Next, another BTA that happened this week from the most I had no idea this was going to happen. Well, you had an idea it could happen, But you really were like, the Bears? Come on, really? But the Cowboys played against the Bears this week. They lost to the Bears 31-14. Dak Prescott was 31-40, 251 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Javonte Williams had 10 carries for 76 yards and 5 receptions for 16 yards. And George Pickens had 5 receptions for 68 yards and 1 touchdown. On the other side, Caleb Williams was 19 of 28, 219 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 carries for 12 yards. DeAndre Swift had 13 carries for 33 yards, 3 receptions for 45. Luther Burden III, whoever you are, had 3 receptions for 101 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 carry for 7 yards. Rome Odunze had 3 receptions, 62 yards, 1 touchdown. DJ Moore, 4 receptions, 21 yards, 1 touchdown. Cole Kmet, 1 reception, 10 yards, 1 touchdown. Babe, it was so bad. It was just so bad. And I feel like it's even more laughable, unfortunately, for the Cowboys because they have the owner of Jerry Jones, who really, again, thought getting rid of Michael Parsons would be a good idea. That did not age well very, very quickly. Now, of course, they do have some pivotal injuries that they have also gone through on both sides. Most recently, CeeDee Lamb did not have a catch in this game because he went out early on and he has a high ankle sprain and he is unlikely to play this Sunday. I think they say he may be out 3 to 4 weeks. Of course, their center, BB, he's out. Also, Tyler Booker is going to be out. Trayvon Diggs is doing his best to come back from this injury, and it is whooping his ass as well. Deron Bland also did not play, so the injuries aren't doing them any favors as well. But as well as their offense played in the last couple of games before this, we know the shootout that they had with the Giants, and we know how well they played against the defending champions on the opening night. They can't do it all. Like Dak has played pretty decent. This was obviously his worst game of the season so far. He was actually pulled late. I know he stated, injuries, the game was out of hand. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. It is what it is. He was pulled. And just like last season, they're starting their season again 1-2. Last year, their defense definitely was the reason. Last year was the run defense was pretty bad. It's not too bad right now, but their secondary is just bad. Again, they gave up 450 yards to Russell Wilson last week, and Caleb Williams, who's been struggling since he got into the league, had arguably his best game ever as a professional quarterback against them. It was just really bad to watch. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to get any easier to have to go through all of that and then have to play Sunday nights against the Green Bay Packers is going to be a cinema. It's going to be wild. I hope they put the camera on Jerry all night long because we don't need to see the game. Now, I will say Jordan Love he'll give you some stuff. We've seen that as they lost to the Browns this week. So we know Jordan will give you some. But if Jordan can't play well against this current iteration of the Dallas Cowboys defense, of course, they're back and practicing and you're always hoping for the best. If he can't play well against them, it's going to be a long season for them because their defense is fire. Adding Michael Parsons to it just made it that much more fuego. That's all I know. I don't know at this point. So they'll play Sunday night. Y'all know I hate primetime games. I hate this for y'all. It's not going to be a pretty sight because everybody's going to be watching and everybody's going to be talking. Last but not least, another BTA. It was a lot of BTAs this week. The Giants played against the Chiefs. Now, I'll say this BTA wasn't that bad because the Chiefs didn't look that great either. But the Giants lost to the Chiefs 22-9. Russell Wilson, 18 of 32, 160 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 5 carries for 27 yards. Cam Scatterbo, 10 carries, 60 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 receptions, 61 yards. And I missed something because I think he also had that's it. And then that's it because Malik Neighbors ain't do nothing either. And I was literally like, I guess this is the only one I'm gonna really talk about. Now, to be fair, it's no 100% fault of Malik Neighbors because he had 7 targets. He had 2 catches for 13 yards. But we know those 7 targets weren't really in the vicinity of him too much. So you give him a little bit of a break on that side. Russell Wilson, like I said, to go from rookie Russell Wilson last week to old man yelling at the clouds Russell Wilson this week, show again kind of goes back to the previous game of how bad the defense was, but that he played, that it seemed like. It's just that it seemed like the Chiefs were able to finally get it together. No, the 1 touchdown scored. They missed an extra point. Their kicker got hurt. Had to bring him back in. It's just a mess for the Giants. It's so bad that they finally announced today that Jackson Dart will be starting on Sunday. And congratulations to you. You get to play against the Chargers. That should be fun. Welcome to the NFL moment. It's just really bad. Their defense can't do everything. They're trying their best. And I really don't even know what to say at this point. It's just bad. The only bright spots really are going to be what we see Jackson Dart do and what Cam Scatterbo has done so far. He's literally been their offense outside of course, the Malik Neighbors game last week. So I expect him to start. I expect Jackson to start. I don't know how much better it's going to get. They also have a very brutal schedule as the year goes on. Again, like I said, they play the Chargers, who are 3-0 and 3-0 in their division, and they beating people up too. So it's just bad. The only other bright spot for them is Andrew Thomas did play. He did leave the game early, but they stated that was part of the plan. And I mean, at the way the games are going, I don't know why he out there anyway. It ain't changing too much. So let him go ahead and nurse his injury back to 100% hold. So like I said, they'll play the Chargers Sunday. It's getting a little scary in the NFC East for those two teams. Over the last decade or so, for a long time, we were known as the NFC least. Last couple of years, I mean, maybe outside of the Giants had one really good run when they won a playoff game with Daniel Jones. People started saying, NFC beast a little bit. So it's getting half and half. But we're still very early in the season. Like I said, I still feel like, a lot of these teams are going through preseason reps. I still believe that with 3 games in, there's like a regular preseason. A lot of these teams their starters didn't play. So we don't know what's going to happen next week. Only thing I can promise is it's going to be something crazy.
Oh, that I can guarantee. Everything's been nonsense, every division. For the Giants, while you're going through whatever you're going through, send your boy a pass rusher since you got an extra 1 or 2 over there. You have nothing to play for. So brighten one of those young man's hopes. Let them see a possibility of competitive football for, where the wins mean something, or just getting a win. Who knows? But on to the WNBA playoffs. A lot has happened since the last time we spoke to y'all. Playoffs were just starting. They are in full swing right now. Get that off the screen. Put this up here. Recap of round 1, right? We saw the Lynx sweep the Valkyries. Shout out to the Valkyries, hell of a year. Minnesota's been on get back since they lost the championship game. That train doesn't look like it's slowing down at all. We then saw Kelsey Mitchell lead the Indiana Fever past the Dream, 87-85 to take that first round series, 2-1. The Aces would hold off the Storm, also winning their series 2-1. The Mercury would beat the Liberty in 3 games, winning that third and final game 79-73 to advance, leading to all sorts of conversation and discussions that we'll talk about in a little bit as the Liberty have officially entered their offseason. We saw A'ja Wilson get crowned MVP, first 4-time MVP in league history. And then the Indiana Fever promptly spoiled that announcement by winning game 1 in commanding fashion, 89-73. Again, one of the most dangerous scorers on the planet, leading the way. I don't know. I know there's a lot of new folks to the W. I know some of y'all, how you came in, were led to believe that what brought you there was the greatest thing ever. Kelsey Mitchell is a professional bucket getter. She was like Michael Myers, the female Michael Myers in the Big Ten. didn't say anything. Just bucket after bucket, walking in folks' gyms, leaving places completely quiet the entire time she was there. I think, Ray, I'm sure you can attest to this. Not surprised that Kelsey Mitchell happens to be a tough cover for the Aces, who are, a little old in the tooth on the perimeter, so to speak. But that said, they won game one. We saw Odyssey Sims, and another veteran guard. She chipped in with 17. The Aces were led by Jackie Young's 19 and 7. Those 7 being rebounds. Indiana's defense answered the bell in this one, holding the Aces to just 40% shooting from the floor and 29.4% from deep. Ray, we'll start with you. Just your thoughts on Indiana taking game one in that semifinals matchup.
Yeah, I kind of figured this series would get a little interesting, or more interesting than people would have thought. Mainly because, like you say, what Indiana does well speaks directly to what the Aces struggle with, and it's mainly perimeter defense and playing with pace. If the Aces aren't able to dictate the terms of the game, they're going to lose, and that's just what it is, man. They cannot allow Indiana to get up and down. They cannot allow Kelsey Mitchell to just run rampant. They got to figure something out. Their guards do not fight over screens well, and once that happens and they get in scramble and people got to recover and all that, it's just problems all around, man. They can't excuse me, they can't depend on A'ja going Super Saiyan every game. She's got a lot to deal with Natasha Howard and Leah Boston down there. She was kind of able to somewhat match their production, but it was not up to her usual efficiency. She was 6-22, but then that's just canceled out because Kelsey Mitchell outproduced the Aces backcourt. So, they got to take control of some aspect of the game. They lost everywhere in game one. So I'm excited to see their response tonight. Indiana, man, we talk about teams being resilient. Almost half their roster suffered season-ending injuries coming down the stretch of regular season, and here they are in the 2 wins away from the WNBA finals. So they got a lot. They got a lot to play for. They're a proud team. You mentioned Kelsey Mitchell. I'm sure, and it's got to be in the back of her mind that she's like, people must have forgot, and she's definitely reminding them. So yeah, Vegas, they got to get it together, man. Maybe it was they had a lot going on Sunday, riding high on emotions, and maybe they were a little bit taxed early afternoon start. So be it. But they got to come out and win this game for sure. They cannot drop the first 2 and expect to fight their way back. So yeah, definitely curious to see how they come out. They're a championship team. They got the experience. So yeah, man, we'll see how they deal with it. But yeah, if they can't dictate the terms of the game, it's going to be bad.
Oh, for sure. Just a reminder, as Ray was alluding to, the way the WNBA playoffs are set up, first round best of 3, then it's best of 5. So that's why it's talking about how important those first 2 are. It's first of 3 from here on out. Malik, your take on the first, the first game in the Indiana Vegas series. Now that we see that Indiana is up a game. Also reminded everybody, both game 2s in respective series we're asking these great folks about this evening are occurring tonight. One's happening at the moment when we get to the next one. Then the Aces fever kick off a little bit later this evening.
Not even to expand on the dead horse that Ray was talking about other people that matter. Jackie Young is going to play a good game. A'ja Wilson didn't play a good game. Kelsey Mitchell, like he said, on her respected ends, decided that she wanted to play an immaculate game. She's doing the things playoff people do to get paid to win games. Aaliyah Boston had 6 points, 11 rebounds. She was killing on the boards, like you said earlier, but her points is going to increase as well. The Aces, they have the people that they need to win. They just got to win. But like mentioned before, they have to take over the game, one aspect or another. You got to rebound, you got to score, you got to defend. If you can't, like I said, all the rest of the games, turnovers, rebounds, and shot efficiency. The Fever shot 50%. The Aces only shot 40%. Rebounding, Ace Aja Wilson had 16-13. Her efficiency was not efficient at all. That's not an efficient 16. She's not even a 16-point scorer. So the Fever, they're high right now, but they are humble. And the energy that's going through that building right now is immaculate. So, but the Aces do need this game. Like Ray said earlier, they can't go down 2 games. Not even about this round, but definitely some people, some bodies of work in the W, and we're going to talk about it later, have surprised people. People not playing anymore, teams going home, and certain teams stepping up. But yeah, the Aces need this game more than they have. Now they can still, if they still go down 2, they can still win this series. But they definitely need this game tonight to put it back 1-1.
Xavier, your thoughts on the Fever taking a 1-0 lead in the semis?
I mean, I think you talked about Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell's been playing like this all year. It turned up when Caitlin Clark really went out, and she knew she was it. She was who they needed, and she went in their trap and took over their trap, like point blank period. Like she's like, I don't care nothing about no 4 MVPs. I don't care about none of that. Especially because a lot of people don't think that Indiana should be here, or that they didn't think that they would be here. So definitely echoing what you guys have already stated, the Aces need to win this game. I actually 100% believe that they will, but somebody has to stop Kelsey Mitchell. Like, somebody got to do it, and I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if we're going to rewind the clock on Chelsea. I don't know if Jackie's going to take the assignment. I saw an interesting post. There's a lot of bad blood between these teams. You know, that there's a lot of, I literally saw them break it down where we've seen Odyssey Smith and Dana Evans go at it before. We've seen, now granted, I didn't really believe this one, of course, because they're South Carolina sisters, but we've seen Asia and Aaliyah go at it before. We've seen now Nalissa Smith is playing against the team that drafted her. There are a lot of different emotions that come into this game as well. So on both sides, but it seemed like Indiana was able to harness theirs a little bit better than what the Las Vegas Aces were able to do. But I have full faith in them. You know, I feel like early on in the season, we saw what they were putting out there, and we saw what happened. And we saw how when Asia talks, they listen, and she leads by example. So stating, like Malik said, you know, Asia scoring 16 points. Asia scores 38 points, bro. Like, that's Asia. So I'm expecting for her to have one of those games. I'm expecting for them to kind of go hard. I really want to see Cheyenne Parker Tyus get a little bit more, like another big body that's going to be able to bang down there with Natasha Howard and Aaliyah Boston. She got to stay out of foul trouble. I think at one point, I don't know if it was this game or the last game, she had like 3 fouls in like 30 seconds. Like, they need you. Now, granted, baby, props to you coming back this quickly after having a baby. She had a baby in July. I don't know how she doing that, but she got to get back into the fold. They're going to need her. But I have faith in the Aces. You know, I think kind of like what Ray said, like maybe the atmosphere and, you know, the emotion of it all. I don't know, even though I really don't expect that from an Aces team. I expect them to be a locked-in team. So I'm excited to see tonight. But yeah, they can't go down 0-2. Like, yeah, like they can definitely still win it, but they don't want to put themselves in that position because Indiana is going to smell blood in the water. They are going to go ham if they get up 2-0. And you got to go back to Indiana at that point. You don't want that. So hopefully they get it together and they, you know, are able to split the series tonight and then go from there.
Yeah, I'm with all you guys. It starts with they got to slow down Kelsey Mitchell. No respect to the rest of the Fever, but you slow her down, offense gets difficult for everybody else. But that's been the problem. I'm interested to see if Becky just, a little bit old school like Jackie. This is Kelsey. Y'all are linked up together for the rest of the series. Because not to be disrespectful to every other guard on the Aces, y'all don't have a chance in hell of slowing her down yourselves. Jackie has the best chance. And I'm not, just not being rude, being honest. Kelsey's an effing problem, man. Like she's a problem. Like she's one of those microwave scores, except that she's always on. It's not the ones that may be off. They warm up. Oh my goodness, here it goes. It's just a matter of when. Like Octavia said, she's been set to go. She had to hit that switch, like 10 games into the season? So we already know what time it is. Like, it's been there. This just Ohio State Kelsey in the W, man. It was nightly then, and folks are getting to see it. But on to the other semis. Oh, man. Great job by Phoenix, taking out New York. So Phoenix taking on Minnesota. Courtney Williams. Right again. You've covered the W as long as I have. You can attest to this as well. Courtney Williams is another one of those freakishly microwave, oh my Lord, don't let her get going guards because she will ruin something. Wind the clock back a little bit. The Connecticut version of Courtney Williams is one of the reasons Connecticut was always in the mix. She was just hell on both ends of the floor. In that first game, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. She also had 5 steals. She's also one of the better rebounding guards in the league, despite her size. Very athletic. Kelly McBride added 21 points. Fees had 18 points and 9 rebounds. As always for Phoenix, we expect this. Alyssa Thomas on triple double watch, 18, 8, and 7, add in 3 steals. Kalea Copper led the Mercury scoring with 22 points. Phoenix struggled mightily to shoot the ball from deep, shooting just 13% in this contest. While the Lynx weren't exactly on fire, 31% is a lot better than 13%. Ray, we'll start with you. And, it's game 2, like I said, is happening right now. And Minnesota seems to be on the same type of time they were on in game 1. So, unless Phoenix figures it out, they got a long hole to climb out of this evening. This looks like it may be heading towards 2-0. Again, it's like 5 minutes left in the third. It's 59-42.
Yeah, this synopsis is going to be a lot less complicated. Minnesota is the better team, point blank, period. It just is what it is. I think we could be honest about that. And they're on a revenge tour because I'm pretty sure they feel like they could have easily been hoisting a trophy at the end of last season, and they could have. There was a lot of things that if the ball bounced a different way, they're the defending champions. But now they're trying to come back to right those wrongs. So they have an all-world player on their team as well. And you mentioned the support cast, Courtney Williams and Kayla McBride. Kayla McBride's one of the best shooters in the league. Courtney Williams, one of the best scorers in the league. They have a deep team. They have length. They have size, mobility, and a world-class coach. And a chip on his shoulder. So all those things combined, it's been real Phoenix, unless something crazy happens. I don't think this series is gonna. I don't think they're gonna be any surprises.
Malik, your thoughts on Phoenix and Minnesota?
Yeah, Minnesota is they collapse, they suffocate, and they're looking for blood. First half they trailed of that first game. Second half they won the half 42-22, completely dominated for second half. From the 3-point line, they held Phoenix 3 for 23 from the 3-point line, suffocating. They're suffocating and just being bullies because they know where they want to be. They know what the end goal is, and this series right here has nothing to do with what they're trying to do. They're just in the way of what's going on. But this is a W. Kalea Cooper, 22 points. Alyssa Thomas, 18, 7, and 8. So anybody can win on any given day. But I might say I can't give any more predictions because one of the predictions I gave, they're at home now. So I'm about to say the W is one of the most intriguing sports there is to be, But yeah, if everybody plays their best basketball, it's gonna be this. It's gonna be the teams with the higher seeding that should be seeing the trophy soon.
Octavia, your thoughts on Minnesota Phoenix?
Yeah, like Ray started off, I'm gonna keep this very brief. Very brief. Phoenix, congratulations, you made it here. They definitely had a tumultuous season early on with the injuries that they faced. So for them to overcome those, get some of those players back, and to be here, congratulations. Unfortunately, you ran into the wrong team. Minnesota is just the better team. You know, they Fee is out of her mind. Courtney, I mean, the stud buds, I mean, it's the stud buds. Like, come on. Taylor McBride, you know, we talked about her around All-Star time. Like, she should have been an All-Star. Like, it's just too many different ways that they can beat you. And they are, like you also stated, they have a chip on their shoulder. They felt like they lost last year on a fluke. Let's keep it a buck. They feel like they lost on a fluke, and they coming for everything that they wanted. Now, I would say they're probably a little salty that, you know, the Liberty aren't here, because I'm sure they would have loved to beat them. But hey, you know, you deal with what's in front of you, and hey, they're like, you guys are here, so you guys are just gonna get this ass whooping. And I don't foresee anything out of the norm happening. But like Malik said, we know what Alyssa Thomas can do. We know what Kalia Cooper can do. So they can have out-of-world performances that might get them a game. I just don't see them winning the series. Minnesota is just too much. They've been one of the most, if not the most consistent team all year. It's just, it was, thank you for coming, Phoenix. Have a great summer. Or I guess fall at this point. I forget if they get fall. Have a nice fall. Get ready for Unrivaled. I know they released some names and players. Just go ahead and get ready at this point. It was a great effort. You know, you just happen to run into a buzzsaw, and Minnesota is just on one.
That's a very kind way to say it. We're gonna stick it to W as we you know, get to take it and leave it and whatnot. Let's get this up here for you guys right quick. Here we go. The New York Liberty decided to take a page out the New York Knicks playbook. Only the difference being when they fired their coach, they fired a championship-winning head coach today from the New York Liberty, general manager Jonathan Kolb. We would like to thank Sandy Brondello for her everlasting impact. Sandy finishes her tenure in New York as the winningest coach in franchise history, and she took us to never-before-seen heights as the first head coach to lead the Liberty to a championship. We wish Sandy the very best in her next chapter. Again, y'all play that back in your head slowly, because this is all those accolades, those kind of words. This is somebody they're letting go. According to ESPN's Alexa Filippo, Liberty brass considered nothing short of a championship to be a success this season. So they were championship or bust, coming off their very first championship in franchise history. Take it or leave it. This is the correct decision because New York sports. Ray.
Yeah, I gotta leave it. You're 1 year removed from a title, and your season was ravaged by injuries. Like what's the precedent like for it? And like they're missing, like, but not missing Benajelani is huge, and she was gone for the season. Like I don't understand. This was, I mean, so I wasn't completely surprised just because of the rumblings, and because I knew there had to be something to it because it was swirling so much, but I just didn't think they would be that stupid, because like, who are you going to bring in at this point? Like, who are you going to bring in at this point, and why? And as after your franchise player basically said in a press conference, like, her response to that question was like, it would be the dumbest thing in the world for Sandy not to coach us next year. And 2 days later, this news dropped. So that's going to be an uncomfortable meeting with Stewie the next time she talks to the front office. But yeah, this was just super strange. So what's that y'all always say? Bad teams do bad things.
Yeah.
They're not a bad team, but it looked like they're trying to be one because yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. So now they have to win the championship next year. Like that's the only recourse. That's the only way this becomes right. Like you got to win next year because that was wild, man.
Malik, your thoughts on them firing? You heard those warm, flowery words for somebody they let go after winning a championship.
Well, we're gonna leave it here. I might say that it's not making it. It's not the right thing to do. It's a business. A lot when it comes to a lot of these businesses, people with these many zeros, it didn't turn into a pride thing. We can see that with a lot of coaches through a lot of different organizations and a lot of different sports. So she said something they didn't like. They said something she didn't like. And now we're just going to blow it all up out of proportion because she just brought you a championship. So the concept of it making sense doesn't make sense, but it was just a personal choice that you said you can live with. So, you know, as a human, I understand that piece. But yeah, I just got to leave this where it is. Because who can coach?
Xavier. Oh, sorry.
No, that's it. But maybe anybody. Maybe they're that good. Maybe they're that good. Anybody can coach them, or they can find somebody. Maybe she's not the reason. You know, I don't know. You know,
I don't think they know either. I got my 2 cents after Xavier's son, but go ahead.
So I'm definitely leaving it because I'm flabbergasted on what just happened. The only thing that can make me think that this isn't 100% crazy is if Sandy asked to leave. That's the only thing I can think of. If she has some opportunity somewhere, maybe she's going to get involved in these 2 new franchises that are coming. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. Outside of that, they crazy. I don't get it. Like you guys have already stated, Breanna Stewart was injured for most of the year. She strained her MCL or ACL or whatever it is in the playoffs. Jonquel was out for multiple times. Benaja Laney Johnson was out all year. Leonie Febich was overseas for a portion of the year. Emma came in late. I mean, not saying that this player was a huge. Now she played a good, decent role in their win last year. Niara Sabli was gone for some time as well. Like, it's Natasha Cloud's first time here. She's getting active. Like, there's so many different moving parts that I don't see how you blow this up because they didn't win the championship. Now, kind of also alluded to what Ray said with the rumblings of apparently that had they not won last year, that she was on her way out. So this goes back to those. It's kind of the same thing. It was funny that because I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until you said it's funny. It's kind of the same thing the Knicks did. Like they were already thinking about getting rid of Thibodeau, so he didn't do the ultimate. So they said get rid of him, or George Karl for the Nuggets. They were already thinking about getting rid of him. He's a championship winning coach. Like I don't know where these coaches are going to come from. Apparently that grow on trees that we just did not know about. I don't know if we're going to talk about another coach. That one's a little bit more interesting. A little bit more interested on that one. So yeah, I don't know. I'm completely leaving it. The only way I would take it is if Sandy was like, I ain't coming back. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, I'm leaving it, and this is just malpractice. Now, I'm just gonna sit here quietly laughing. Just know if and when this news break, when all of a sudden Stewie goes from I'll be back next year to essentially out of here in New York's finest accent, you earned this. You literally earned this. She says, got my coaches back. Y'all are like, ejecto Cito. bro, Stewie not under contract, bro. What you doing? Now Seattle got an opening. They might just go back home and get the band back together. And just leave you being where you were. The only thing is like now you got a championship. Now you about to be out here looking like Toronto. They got that one, and then when they just, what do they even do? Like, that's New York. Like that's what you about to do. And we know with the free agencies, we have ideas of how wild the offseason is going to be, if and when the CBA. Like, and we just saw the Valkyries made a playoff as expansion team, right? So you're helping one of these possible expansion teams get the ground running with an established coach. Yeah, kudos to you. That makes sense. I'm sure that city's going to take that very well because there's so much empathy and patience there in the sports world in New York. I'm sure they're going to handle that well. Octavia, you talked about another coach, so yeah. Since USA right there, we'll start first with you with this one. Brundello wasn't the only W coach relieved of her duties. The Storm let go of the second longest tenured WNBA head coach behind Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve. And Noelle Quinn finishes her tenure as the Storm head coach as the second in franchise all-time wins. That's it. General manager Talisa Rhea told ESPN, I think we had a talented roster that we had high hopes for coming into the season. When you look at some of the individual talent and just collective top to bottom roster that we established, I think our hope was that we'd finish better in the regular season and try to make a deep run in the postseason. I think there was some inconsistency in that. A lot of positives, of course, but I think we were hoping to go a little further than we did. Octavia, your thoughts on Noelle Quinn being ousted as a Seattle head coach? Take it or leave it. Go on mute.
This one's a little bit more interesting. I think Noelle Quinn's a great coach. But the whispers and the things that have been said about the things that go on in this locker room and the way that these players behave and how things happen, she has lost control. She's lost control of it all. So I understand a new voice needing to be brought in to a certain degree. I don't think that takes away from the type of coach that she is. It kind of likens it to she won the championship, but it kind of reminds me of, Andy Reid leaving the Eagles, like, hey, been here for a minute, you did some good things, but we just got to go somewhere else. The noise and things that I heard coming out about how, we know, I'm gonna be real, we know Skylar Diggins be on one, so let's just put that out there. We know she be on one. But I think when I heard it the most was with the Alicia Clark trade and how Alicia Clark was like, I'm trying to get the fuck up out of here. Like, I'm trying to leave up out of here because, and then with Lexi Brown and her exit interview, there's some disconnect somewhere. Do I think that she deserves to get another opportunity somewhere else? Absolutely. If I'm one of those expansion teams, I'm definitely giving her a call and testing her temperature to see, what her thought process is. But yeah, this one, I don't want to take it or leave it because I guess I gotta do one. I would take it just because I really think that she's lost control of the locker room, the faith, probably the ownerships and higher ups, their faith in her being able to control it and being able to set the tone and being able to have things go the way that they should go. But I do think she'll probably get another opportunity. I hope she gets another opportunity because she is a damn good coach. I don't think you can take that away from her. I think some of it is just she had a lot of mixed personalities up in there as well. So there's that to think about as well. But I think she needs a fresh start somewhere else. I would take it in that aspect.
All right. Malik, take it or leave it. Seattle, similar to New York, did they make a good decision?
I think the good decision was made. Like Octavia said, sometimes you got to have change, and sometimes if you want to see different type of results, you got to do different types of things. I think a team in Dallas needs to make a decision like that as well, on the football end of things, for example. But absolutely, the Seattle, they have a core right now that can take them places if they have the right people around them, if they have the right ears around them. And like Octavia said, it's already previous instance where the players here aren't treated or don't feel as though they have the right things they need to be successful. And if you want to be successful, something's got to change. And the players are going to come. The players are going to be here. Coaches rotate in and out, as you're seeing. Players get traded as well. But when you got a core and you got to figure that core out, like the last two conversations we've had, the coaches got to something's got to give. So here, Skylar Diggins, the head of the snake when it comes to that team. You getting help, you're getting trades, you're getting people in, and she's not, as you can see here, but what she's done for Seattle, she can't go anywhere, or it might really the fans might turn on the organization itself just because of all she's done for the city. So I take it, I understand it, I get it. They probably met in the middle and understood mutually what was going on in this one.
Right, you take on this situation.
Yeah, especially given our previous example, I'll take it. At least what they said makes sense. Looking at that roster, I don't think they should have been fighting for their playoff lives on the last day of the season. That's a very reasonable expectation. And like Octavia and Malik brought up, just it sounds like a human resources nightmare, the stuff that's been said and the accusations made about what goes on up there. So, I mean, even if at the very least it's a damage control move, it makes some sort of sense, as opposed to firing a coach that brought you your first championship 12 months ago. So, yeah, I mean, this wasn't a head scratcher. It sucks, especially since, Noelle was the lone Black female head coach in the league. That still bothers me. That's a thing, but that's neither here nor there at this point. But yeah, I'm sure she'll get another opportunity. But yeah, it seems like a move that the writing was on the wall, pretty much.
All right. I get where all of you guys at. I'm probably gonna leave it. I just think Seattle's had some stuff that's been weird since Stewie and Sue left. And I still don't think they've been able to fully put a like point exactly to what the issue is. And even, with Noelle aside, I was off put. Like, this does make more sense than what the folks in New York said. But looking at the roster too, and no disrespect, like 5 years ago, I would agree with the statement. 2025 heading into 2026. I mean, I kind of hear what you're saying, but Malunga also, like, if she didn't like come on towards the end of the season, I don't know what this looks like. And that's one of the people where, that's like all world talent in terms of a prospect. So again, I'm interested to see where this all goes. But Seattle, they don't have the benefit of doubt for me since the Stewie Bird days. Like Stewie, Bird, Lloyd. I remember Lloyd's Jules last couple years there. Like stuff just after that little run, stuff's just been broken. So maybe this is like, we'll find out if, like, as you three led to, maybe the issue was Noelle Quinn. We'll find out in fact what it is. If it turns out that it wasn't. But again, those expansion teams that's a hell of a way to come into expansion teams. You got some great coaching, great talent in the coaching pool. So if you know the Portland Temple or whatnot, I know you're like, hell yeah, we don't have to go get somebody on somebody's staff. Sandy, are you interested? Noelle, are you interested? It's a great way to start. All right, Octavia kind of already touched on Caleb Williams and how great that game was. The only caveat I did have someone take it or leave it. We'll leave it there. Was that game against Dallas, just to let you guys know just how anemic that defense is. that was the first time in his young career that he was not sacked in an NFL game. First time in his career.
That's crazy.
Just want to throw that in context, that it was that non-threatening for him back there.
If only Michael Parsons was there.
He was sacked a league high 68 times last year. He was sacked 6 times within the first 2 weeks. Clean sheet.
He was happy as hell yesterday. He was happy.
Everybody.
He was like, I ain't
Everybody
take no
looks good.
ice cream this week. What?
Like it was a flip of the coin. He looked great, and the Giants played them last week. The Giants looked untouchable last week. They played this week, and it just didn't look like anything.
Stuff. I'm sure Jordan Love is licking his chops Sunday night.
Unless he starts
Be
throwing the ball to
unbothered.
the other team.
That is his choice. If he does that this week, that is a personal choice that he never was under any duress to make. That we can say for sure, because no one else has been under duress at all. Like a complete, like 7-on-7 type activity for teams apparently playing them. So I think we got a rapid fire question. And Octavia, you also touched on Jackson Dart starting, so that takes another question off. Hey, look, man, you covered a lot of topics, so we take them off the board. But move to rapid fire. And Malik, we're going to start with you on this one because your folks out there are saying some crazy stuff. Or maybe it's not crazy. We'll see. Up there in Seattle, they're saying some very, very, very interesting things. This comes from Clint Kubiak.
Oh God!
Formerly the offensive coordinator for the Saints and the Vikings. He was asked if he's coached a wide receiver that reminded him of Torrey Horton. Torrey Horton got drafted this year. For those that don't know, out of Colorado State, really silky, easy moving wide receiver. Big. I think he had a 95-yard punt return, or was it kickoff return?
It was a return. Yeah, right.
Okay. I couldn't remember it was kickoff.
I remember it being breaking tackles. I think it was a kick return.
Man was moving. 95-yard return. And then he was asked this week by longtime Seahawks beat writer Brian Nemhauser. He's covered the Hawks for the last 18 plus years. Again, he was asked if he's ever coached a rookie wide receiver that reminded him of Torrey Horton. He initially, talked about Clint Kubiak, declined to name the player and then revealed eventually who he was talking about. His answer, Justin Jefferson, was the answer. Jettis was the answer. Malik, your thoughts on him mentioning a rookie in the same line as a player of that caliber?
He's talking. So when I hear him answer that question, I hear him saying he must obviously be talking about his college, not even his college production, but the potential he said has for him coming out of college. I don't think he's talking about what he could be. I can't defend this because I don't know at what point he just said such a broad statement and then just left it there. Because are you saying because Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, I can't really think of. It's probably about 3 other guys I'm missing that are just beyond a doubt different than all the rest of the guys that play the receiver position in the NFL. And Justin Jefferson, especially, he's in his own conversation of just what he does with the body type that he has and how slingy it looks. Like he's 6'2" as well, but it's a different type of 6'2". Like I said, when he's Jamar Chase 6'1", his structure of how his body type, that Justin Jefferson build is different. How he moves with the ball, without the ball, get into his spots is different. So I don't know where he's at answering this question, but I'm happy that he has faith in this guy, Colorado State guy. But the LSU guys is very, very different. High school, college, NFL, whatever conversation we're talking, but it might be traits that he sees in him.
That was a very PC answer. Not trying to throw your man Clint under the bus. I see you out there. I'd say your thoughts on Clint saying that Tony Horton may, eventually he said the name, may remind him of Justin Jefferson. Again, not saying that this is Jettis reincarnated, that he reminds him of Justin Jefferson?
I need more details. Like, what exactly you seen that reminds you? Like, that's my question. Like, I can't tell you. Like, you see what you see in practice, and I don't see it. So okay. But yeah, Justin Jefferson. You mean the one that played in Minnesota? It might be another Justin Jefferson somewhere that we don't know about. You know, it's a very common name. So maybe it's a different Justin Jefferson he's talking about. But I mean, props to him for, you know, maybe he was trying to big up his rook, you know, give his rook some confidence, you know, that he believes in him and that, you know, I can see you being the best. You know, maybe these are the affirmations he says to him to get him to go out there and do his thing. But Justin Jefferson is different. You know, he's very, and it was very adamant, very, very, very quickly, you know. So I feel like if he feels like he's Justin Jefferson, I need to see him on every single play. So we need to be out there running Justin Jefferson routes. So maybe we see more of this guy, you know, but I need a little, I would have appreciated a little more details in what he specifically sees as comparison. I don't know if he's saying he's comparing or traits or what. So that's why I'm trying to give him a little bit of grace when it comes to that, you know, because sometimes we do go a little bit OD when people do say like this likens this. I'll give you an example. Not that long ago, I believe on ESPN, Dan Orlovsky stated, and you know, he always saying something crazy, that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni likened to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And I know a lot of people could be like, huh? What are you talking about? How that happen? So I'm trying to give him grace. Maybe there are small traits because there was a specific trait that he was talking about in that. So I'm going to give him slight grace. But yeah, I want to know exactly what he's talking about.
Correct.
Yeah, it always annoys me when people do this. Like, you gonna go to that spot? Like, I don't care what trait or whatever you were talking about. Don't put them in the same sentence right now. Like, it's just that simple. It's like when every time it's a tall, skinny dude with perimeter skills in the NBA, they the next KD. No, they're not. Don't even put them in that box until they earn that. So yeah, man, like I get trying to uplift your young player, but just find another way, bro.
I would also like to say that the Phoenix Suns must have heard me talking. I mean, Phoenix Mercury must have heard me talking trash because they was like, "What the?"
They've been on one since you finished off.
I just turned my head and looked. I said, "Oh," they was like, "Oh, you said what?" And I was like, "Oh, my bad."
They are within 3 now after what you had to say.
Yeah,
I just feel like a young coordinator got caught. Like, a reporter got you, man. That's what happened. Like, they caught you and you got caught flat-footed. Please don't let this happen again. I get where you're coming from. Like, to Malik's point earlier, like, their differences in body type, like, it's eerily similar. And you could even shot yourself bail. It's just been like, they have similar physical measurables. And you could have just walked out of there and we good. Because you didn't say hands, route running, anything crazy. We can't even mess with you. You could have just said that and kept it moving. They're like, what is that? A 6'1", 194, Horton 6'2", 196. Like, it's that similar. Both tall, lanky dudes, man. Like, that move well. But now you put, obviously Seahawks fans are aware of Torrey Horton. Now you got other folks like, let me see what the Seahawks talking about. Jetta's part 2 is over there.
To be fair, in the 3 NFL games he's played in, he scored in 2 of them. So if he keeps up this rate, he could be better than everybody. And he plays on special teams. So if he scores at this rate, if he scores 66% of the season, he could be better than everybody.
Okay.
And he's only working on 2 catches. Two catches against the Steelers, 3 catches against the Saints. Touchdowns in both games.
Yeah, he got blanked out in the first one, but I do like him. I do think he's a good wide receiver. You didn't have to put this pressure on that young man. Like, I do think he's an answer, like for JSN. I think Hort can actually be their ex, like, for real. But you didn't have to. Just tell that man I can't think of anybody right now. We out of here. I can't recall.
Catch me tomorrow.
Act like you didn't hear. Man, talk to me tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Let me go look at the tape.
Man, you could have hit the let me go look at the tape. All right, we got our last one, man. Where's this guy at? This guy right here, because social media is on his head top at the moment. We got Tiki Barber.
Oh God,
being popped up. Like, it's bad when they start bringing up Tiki Barber, and no one brings up Tiki Barber for, like, the good stuff. Nobody ever does. So you start getting mentioned with him, usually in some type of trouble. All right, Derrick Henry, man, for everything that he does. He has fumbled 3 times in 3 games to start this season. He has lost 2 of them, both of which came in 1-possession games that resulted in the loss. The game in which the second game of the season against the Browns, he fumbled. He didn't lose that one, but they carved up the Browns defense like no one has yet this year. It's a good defense. That said, looking back through his career, I just want us to take a look before we even. I was wondering because I saw the Tiki Barber noise and I was like, all right, are people just being over the top? It's 2025 as people do. Somebody has like a bad stretch of play and it's like you're the worst thing ever. But Mr. Derrick Henry, through 325 carries last season in Baltimore, he had 3 fumbles. He lost 1 all season through 325 carries. Through 41 carries this season, he's fumbled 3 times and lost 2. Going back to Tennessee, he had 5 fumbles in 2019, and he carried the ball 303 times that year. And then he fumbled 4 times in 2022. And that was off 349 carries. I can shoot you some bail. That's 350 carries is nuts, dude. Like, that is a heavy workload with no passing attack. That said, he lost 3 of them in 20. He also lost 3 of them in 2019 and 2 in 2022. Thoughts on like, are we ready to say like this is officially an issue? I'm not getting to where some folks are getting takish with it and trolling him, but is this literally an issue, or is it something that's just being magnified because Baltimore's defense is that bad now since Mike McDonald's went to Seattle? They have been horrible. I'll tell you, we'll start with you.
So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like you said, 350 carries, 5 fumbles. Okay, I think the bigger issue is when the fumbles are happening more than that the fumbles are happening. The fumbles he's had this year have been in pivotal situations. And let's keep it a buck. The Ravens fans are on suicide watch because last year, how the year ended, Mark Andrews had to go hide for not catching the pass. So I think everything that they do right now, of course, is 100% heightened. And I mean, I also want to bring up, it was funny how he got so mad he fell off the bench. And when the bench was fighting, the bench got fumbled off the bench. But I don't want to say it's an issue. Now, I will say he has met his quota of 3. If he did 3 last year, you did 3 already. That's enough. Like, I don't want to say it no more. Especially because, you know what, Derek, I have you in one of my fantasy leagues. I need you to stop fumbling. It'll just be nice. I'm not even talking about parlays or anything. I'm just talking about simple fantasy. That's it. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. He's one of the, he's a short ballot Hall of Famer when it comes down to it. I think it was very interesting that I didn't even know this because, of course, I was so engulfed in how Saquon played last year. He almost had 2,000 yards rushing last year as well. So I mean, I think I would assume this week he's doing a lot of drills, a lot of ball protecting drills this week, because as we've also seen in the last couple of years, that peanut punch is real and people are deploying it at a high clip, a very high clip. I look at it for the Eagles all the time. I look at the play in the Cowboys game where Miles Sanders was running down and Zach Bond was trying to catch him, and he wasn't even trying to tackle him at first. He was trying to punch the ball out. And then when he realized he couldn't get to the ball, he was like, I got to tackle him before he scores. And then they came right back the next play and punched it out. So these running backs definitely, it's on the minds of the defensive players. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm also willing to say you have met your quota for the year. I don't want to see it no more.
All right, I like that. He met his quota. All right, Malik, your thoughts on Mr. Henry having the barber issues?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what Baltimore needs to have a chip on their shoulder other than the things that are already happening. Baltimore's going to make the playoffs. Yes, that's a check. So with that being said, if these are the growing pains they need for these guys to be angry enough so Lamar Jackson can win a Super Bowl, then that's what needs to happen. They've already lost to the guys they got to see in the playoffs. So when they get there again, all these teams they're either going to compete with or lose to are going to be the teams they need to beat. So the Lions, they'll see them again soon. The Bills, they'll see them too. So with that being said, if these are the growing pains they need, then that's what needs to happen. Because Derrick Henry, in my opinion, I'm not worried about him fumbling the ball. Comma also, there's not two running backs more valuable on the team than him. So with that being said, if he's giving it up a few times, it's not okay. But like Octavia said, it's not that he's putting the ball on the floor. It's as soon as they need him to, be a difference maker, because he's killing first half, they're covering. They're beating up on people. Fourth quarter, when the game gets back into a game, the other team gets hot. We need 22. He's been dropping the ball. He does great at 99% of the plays. And then one play he drops the ball, now we say he's bad. Nobody can tackle him. People still don't want to chase him down. But right now, because of the media and everything going on with Baltimore, he's a problem. But he's not a problem. The defense needs to be figured out for sure.
All right, so for you, you're like Octavia. It's the win.
I got them on my fantasy team too. Out here stinking it up.
Yeah.
It's the win.
I got Lamar on one of the other ones too, but god dang.
Yeah, these are nearly sealing the game. Like the game is already in a bad spot. Then these are making it horrific situations and circumstances.
All right, Ray, do you share the thoughts of your co-host that it's the win? These horrible things are happening.
I think it's a little bit of both, man. You can't average a fumble a game. And on top of when they're happening, that just makes it even worse. But like Octavia said, I hope he just got them all out of the system, because it's a trend at this point this season. So, yeah. And again, like everybody said, he's obviously a phenomenal running back. But yeah, get this under control like ASAP, especially with all the other issues they're having with their defense. Can't afford to not have a 1,000% dependable running game. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, quota met. No need to no need to be an overachiever.
Don't do it in the playoffs either. Like go talk to Mark Andrews. Let him tell you what he would do. And let's keep it a buck. Mark Andrews is white. Derek, come on, bro. They about to be on your ass. Like, come on. So, for their sake, I hope he gets together. For my sake, I hope he don't, because I don't want to play them in the Super Bowl either. So I don't care. I know everybody keep talking about a Ravens-Eagles Super Bowl. I don't want to see that. I want to play the sorriest team in the AFC. I don't care.
Yeah, for me, it's just when your defense that bad, man, your two best players gotta, that comes with the territory. Like Malik said, he's still who he is. But sir, I know you feel you're juggernaut, you a big dude. I need two hands on that thing late in games, brother. They coming to get that out of there. Like, because to Malik's point, nobody wants to tackle you. I'd rather just punch the ball out, sir. Like, I ain't got time to deal with I think I saw somebody on the podcast. And he wasn't being funny. He was like, he felt like he lost years off his life standing Derrick Henry up at a goal, like in a goal line stand. Like he was just like that pain. Like he wasn't being funny. Like he still feels painful. He was like, I'm sure I lost something. Like I'm gonna have to get that back. I don't know if I can. So like to y'all's point, like if you're in the hole with Derrick Henry, you want to deal with Derrick Henry, or just let me get that up off you, sir, and we can just make this a quick transaction. But you just got to take better care of the ball, man. That's part of the territory. You're one of the best running backs in football, man. And y'all's defenses, boy, they're going through some things right now.
I mean, they got some injuries. I'm gonna give them that much.
Nah. They've been trash since he left.
Didn't play last night.
Yeah, they got the big centerpiece on that defensive line.
Ben Noyle or the other K1. He didn't play. I don't know what the hell's going on with Jair Alexander being like
inactive. I see. Yeah, he was.
My comments on Jair are not for air, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully, Derrick Henry fixes that issue. We appreciate you guys as always. See you next time, next week, same time, same place, as always. And we're all gonna get off here and watch the end of this crazy WNBA game. It's 79-76, 20.7 seconds left.
You know what's crazy? Like,
is that Sammy?